It must be nice to get OG back just to kind of stabilize both of you guys at both ends tonight. I thought he did.
Well, the biggest thing that I noticed was, he's making some plays defensively, just again, execution-wise. He's got the experience of going through some stuff and just felt like, such an experienced guy used to taking those shots out there too, and they were, there for him early so he could get loose and warmed up a little bit. So he just, I don't know, it just feels like a different level of experience out there. And I think that's pretty factual.
When you got Scotty, I think he guarded Mobley to start the game, and then Garland a bit, you had him on LeVert. Like, is that the kind of defensive versatility that he shows? Obviously helped you.
Yeah, we get into some a little bit funky situations with the way we, sub with so many, wings out there sometimes, and Freddie comes off, and one of the things we tried to do tonight was have either Freddie or Armani out there, just one kind of smaller catch and shoot guy, and then one of them would take. Armani ended up on LeVert a lot, and I thought he did a decent job on him. Again, we just talked about that in the game about Kenny, and there was a couple times in the game where I just said, dude, you got to be more aggressive on D, and he did it, and he knocked the ball away, and he blocked he just started kind of started playing a little bit more free on defense instead of so cautious, right? So that was a good, I think, step forward for him on that end of the floor. Answering your question at all, Doug. Sorry about that.
Pascal makes, I think, career high, 6 threes, ties his career high. That's all those shots seem to be, though, in rhythm. They didn't seem.
The only one was his last one. He took off the one bounce dribble to the right and hit one. I'm not sure we've seen that one before, so he was feeling it. That's for sure.
These games, not that that increase in importance. You talked about OG, but how nice is it to have those sort of three pillars of experience to rely on?
Yeah, I mean, it was huge. I mean, listen, I think Freddie sees a night where they're covering him pretty much with 2 all night, and so he's not, but he's still absolutely, I mean, he made some unbelievable great plays defensively, just coming around, how he does, he blindsides guys and rips the ball away from them, and it was really patient. He didn't get him many looks, but then he got a few in a row there and he hit them. Pascal obviously was dominant on the offensive end. Just everything he did seemed to be the right decision, and OG out there as well. But listen, I told the guys before the game, I said, Chris and Precious and Thad, they need to feel you guys, man, when they hit the game. I mean, when you guys hit the game, they need to feel you, and I mean just your speed and your length and your rebound. I mean, they need to. We need one of those relentless nights on the glass from you guys. And I thought, especially Thad and Chris had great games, and then Precious had his moments there in the critical times where he made some good plays. So I thought, and Armani impacted the game. I thought the bench guys did a heck of a job. I didn't look at their plus minuses, but I bet it's pretty good. Yeah, a lot of pluses and a big 19 for Chris, right?
What did you like from Armani? I mean, there's been a couple of big plays that he's been able to make and not kind of shrink when the moment is called for. What have you liked seeing him so far? Because I talked to him. He said maybe the first full practice was maybe San Antonio. So for him to kind of get in the system so quickly.
Yeah, I just think it's the willingness to take the shot. Right, he's finding the ball's coming to him a lot, and he turned down one he should have shot, but other than that, he pretty much fires them, and he's a really good shooter. I know his percentage isn't super good yet, but I think the threat of him being able to hit a few in a row is there, and that's important too. And I really think there's an ability defensively. He's quick. He's springy. He can change directions. There's some real athletic ability there defensively if we can amp that up a little bit.
You mentioned that and just the impact I think that he made kind of early in the first quarter and not giving up on certain plays. How big of a benefit is it to have him in your locker room? Do you feel as though that has added a certain grit to this team?
Yeah, I mean, I thought first of all, I thought his biggest plays early were offensively in them like putting him and Freddie were playing pick and roll, and they were putting two on Freddie, and Freddie was rightly getting off the ball to Thad, and he was firing it somewhere, hitting a cutter, or taking one and scoring on his own. I just thought he felt like a really safe pair of hands there. You take your chances if you want to take it out of Fred's hands, and I'm going to veer off your question just a little bit too. And even Precious made a great read. They blitzed off Precious. We hit Precious, and he hit Scotty sliding down the lane for a dunk. I mean, those are things like that we're going to see, and we're going to have to be able to just, we work on them like crazy, and it's nice to see some progress there. But I agree with you. I thought Thad was mixing it up, pretty physically tonight, and that was good to see as well. He was showing some great leadership there by playing so physical.
How much better do you feel about your team's chances when the game gets physical like that?
Well, pretty good. I think there's a lot of times. I mean, there's a lot of times I think when you come out of a game and you would say, "Man, we were the physical team tonight." A lot of times. No, there's every now and then where we get hemmed up in some holding and things like that, and we can't, like the other night in Chicago, we couldn't make a cut with much force the other night. They were physical, and I don't think again, but most of the nights, we're gonna put a physical thing on you, and I think you're seeing a lot of that in ball handling, guys taking it in there, landing it, being able to deliver some blows while they're carrying the ball, which is good.
I'm going to get to a couple of online questions. Sorry, Aaron. Go ahead, Josh.
Hey, Nick. Looked like Pascal and OG were playing really well off of each other tonight. Did you notice that as well? And how much do you think having OG back out there opens things up even further for Pascal?
Well, I think it's a big deal. Josh, again, an experienced catch and shoot guy with a quick release and a high percentage guy, is certainly going to, put some doubt into how you're going to, put two on Pascal. I'm just looking here real quick. I do remember Pascal kicking out to OG quite a bit. He had 6 assists. OG had 3. I was just trying to see if OG returned the favor at all a couple times, but Pascal made some great reads really late, I thought, at the rim. He was getting collapsed on, and he sprung up out of there and found OG, so that was good to see them play off each other like that.
I also wanted to quickly follow up on Kayla's question about Thad. I mean, obviously he was great on the floor tonight, but with the games getting so much more important later in the season, do you notice that he's making a difference going into the games, like off the court as well, just in terms of preparation?
Well, he's pretty good with that stuff, Josh. I think he's I mean, he asks clarifying questions, in the shoot-arounds, the walkthroughs. He's in tune very, very much with the game plan and the personnel plan and all those things, and he does make sure, he knows what he's doing, and I always think that's a good sign. It helps us sometimes when he'll just maybe reaffirm what we're doing and say, "Let me get this right," and he'll that helps, I think, from a veteran leadership type player. Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks, Nick.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Oren.
Hey, Nick. Considering the significance of this game and also all the defensive attention that was kind of being thrown at him, how impressive was it for Siakam to be able to put up 35 tonight and do a little bit of everything out there in such a big moment?
Well, again, for me, he's got to take the right opportunities and create opportunities, other ones, right? So I thought he did a really good job of that. I don't recall maybe one really tough turnaround, and I think he made it, where he was in a lot of traffic and he had to shoot a fall away and he made it. But most of the time he was getting to where he wanted to go, vaulting up, and if he didn't and they sent bodies, he got it out of there. and he was pretty relentless with getting back in the next action if they'd cover it good and he couldn't find something or we couldn't hit him on the two-man game, we'd get right back to it. And then I really thought he made a couple big buckets, like, it was like 6 or 8, and we'd kind of got like, it was one of those stretches where we got about 4 in a row at the rim and they all rolled out, and you're starting to think, oh man, we really need a bucket here, and he went down and boom, nailed one on an isolation play. I thought that was big too. So no, he played pretty good offensively tonight, just in decision making and stuff.
Can you speak to just how far his feel and his decision making has come over these past year or two?
Well, I think he's certainly seeing things more clearly. I don't think he's using the spin as much, and even when he does and feels some kind of heat on the backside, he'll pick it up a little quicker, or he'll half spin and get out of that move if he senses it, so he's not getting in blindside danger there as much. I think he's showing incredible physicality. He's taking people down and again like delivering some physicality with his upper body and bouncing them off and scoring. So pretty good, and he seems to be willing to kick it out when that's the right play too. So that's good.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you. So the last online question goes to Lewis, and then we'll finish with Aaron. So go ahead, Lewis.
Hey, Coach, another sad question for you, actually. You've mentioned him playing the 3 a lot. Tonight he got to play the 4 and the 5 with Chris for a stretch. And he ran a lot of pick and rolls. Does that change what he gives you when he gets to be more involved on the ball like that?
Yeah, I mean, I think Lewis, as you know, over the years, you can't really decide who's playing what until you see how they're guarding you with what and with what, right? So I think you get to a situation where they're 5 or they're 4, you want to go, that guy ends up being involved in more actions, and that's what was the case tonight, right? And again, I'm not sure how that happened, but he plays the 3 when it's him, Chris, and Precious for our organizational purposes, like, for the most part. But OG was probably out there, Armani was probably out there tonight. That pushed him up to the 4 or 5, and the way they guarded him pushed him. I mean, Chris had to play some 5. You saw Chris setting and picking and popping tonight. It's just, again, it's gonna probably change between all those guys. Even Scotty gets the 5 put on him sometime, then he'd be in the action. So that's really probably the determining factor.
Thanks, Coach.
Yep, you're welcome.
Go ahead.
The Cavs talked pre-game. They said they figured this game would have a playoff-like feel to it. Did you feel that way? Did you feel like the team responded to that?
I thought it did early. I thought both teams played a little nervous early. Guys were throwing the ball all over the place, shooting it all over the place in the first 5 or 6 minutes. But it was from an intensity standpoint, it was probably just okay. It seems like we've been in some others here. The intensity at Phoenix, the intensity at Denver. Those were some real knock 'em down, drag 'em out battles that went down to the wire. So, yeah, I don't know. How was the crowd? Was the crowd loud tonight? Yeah. Man, it's about how the game was, yeah.